The royal appointment. This is actually the royal appointment from last week. The Telegraph Royals newsletter comes out on Wednesdays each week, but I was away. I was taking a little break, a little vacaciones, but I have thoughts, so let's get into it. In case you forgot, last week was a pretty big week for the royal family. We had Catherine, the Princess of Wales's absence breaking through parts of the internet that usually don't talk about this. It was truly top of pop culture. And yes, there were some truly abhorrent conspiracy theories. Also, if you were someone that doesn't follow the royals at all, and then you found out that the Princess of Wales, future queen, has not been seen in public since late December, and besides a statement from Kensington Palace, there's been no other information, no other photos, nothing from the British media, you too may be like, what? Not that I'm condoning it, but I do understand it. So naturally, the topic of the royal appointment last week was, it has already been another difficult week for the royal family. Recall that on Tuesday, Prince William pulled out of his godfather, King Constantine's memorial service, where he was supposed to read, just 45 minutes before the planned service. His team cited personal matters, which of course means that they had to quickly point out that it had nothing to do with the Princess of Wales and her health, and that it also didn't have to do with Lady Gabriella's husband. A little over a week ago, Thomas Kingston tragically passed away. The coroner's report turned around very quickly. Trigger warning, the police believe that he unalived himself. There was the instrument found at the scene, but the way it was reported on was very strange. I'm not going to get into it because there most likely is no there, and I don't want to add to potential conspiracy theories that are already running across the internet about this. Very sad for him and his family. So yeah, it was a busy week. But far and away, the biggest story anyone was talking about was Catherine, Princess of Wales. And rightly or wrongly, the lack of any other information. And you think to yourself, it is surely going to be discussed in a week full of news and attention that the royal family probably didn't want on them. That would be a no. We talk about William not appearing at the memorial service. Thomas Kingston is discussed. Prince Andrew being at the front and center of the pack to the memorial service is also discussed. Not a good look. Nary a mention about what everyone on the internet is talking about. Not even to come to the defense of the royal family. To which you may retort, well, Meredith, there's no there. She's not supposed to be discussing what's going on in pop culture with the royal family. That's okay. But this is the same newsletter that just last year spent an entire royal appointment discussing a South Park episode about Harry and Meghan. And yes, I understand that the term non-working royal and working royal really entered the zeitgeist around the time that Harry and Meghan made their departure from the institution. What's especially hilarious about this piece is that the title is about Harry and Meghan taking the bait of South Park and taking themselves too seriously. It's only because their spokesperson said that the idea that this television sketch would have legal ramifications was nonsense. And she writes, well, why bother reacting at all? Well, clearly because they had received the question of, would they go after South Park for this episode? And the answer was no. So why even write this? This is far from the first time that the royal appointment has used the newsletter to talk about trending topics about certain royals. This entire piece written just a couple weeks ago was about a website. A basic website. And then just a few hours after I had an online conversation with the author, this royal appointment came out, all about online sleuths. While, according to the Telegraph's website, the royal appointment newsletter is the essential guide to the royal family, penned by expert journalists, including world-leading royal commentator, the author of that piece, it tells you what is really happening behind palace doors. Does it, though? If it's about what's happening behind palace doors, why are they talking about these two? Or using it as a personal burn book? And if it has evolved to include not just what's happening behind palace doors, but what people are talking about on the internet related to the royal family, then how does this current newsletter fall under either of those categories? I think it's time to retool that description.